Sucre is a canton that possesses a series of tourist attractions that go since the scatterbrained diversion to refuge wildlife where they inhabit species protected. Its head county, Bahía y Canoa, rides down on the banks of the estuary that conforms the rivers Chone and Carrizal. From here, they have impressive views of the bay and of its neighbor San Vicente. Recently, the cross-window view was inaugurated, thus called by the enormous monument that dominates the landscape by its height. The tourists arrive with a lot of frequency to this place since practically all of the city can be appreciated. Its streets are almost always cleared. The scarce traffic facilitates the walks in family, and thus Bahía y Canoa is one of the cities less contaminated in the world. The same happens with their beaches, aside from the tranquility of their seawater. Food is another of the fortresses. The aquatic production that is given in their coasts makes it possible for the visitors to enjoy a great variety of shellfish. To this, creativity adds themselves of who they are in charge of preparation of the dishes. They do true works of culinary art. After eating, there is nothing better to know why it is so important, the conservation of nature. Subject to coordination with authorized guides, these rowboats are undertaken to whom the locals call barges. In them themselves to take a walk by the estuary in few minutes already is flanking one of the most important refuge of birds of all the region, the Island Frigate or Island of the Birds. The reason of their name is somewhat obvious. There are many species that live in this island of mangrove called home. They do not only rest here, they also have their nests and raise its chicks while they are growing. Very near the Island of the Birds, we find ourselves with the extreme of the Hard Island. This is the entrance to an internal tunnel that the guides use to show the visitors the variety of flora and fauna. The barges cannot enter this tunnel by itself. Smaller rowboats should be used prompt to oar. Immediately the visitor enters into the thickness of the mangroves forest. Eventually, crabs can be appreciated that flee hasty upon feeling the presence of strangers, and in some sections of the vegetation is so thick that it is necessary to bend down to avoid striking against the branches. To cross the Hard Island from one end to another is a wonderful experience. During this journey, you only listen to the sound of birds, of the wind, and of the pounding of the waves against the oar. This is, without a doubt, one of the most relaxing places you can enjoy during your visit to Sucre. The parish of Charapoto has beautiful beaches that receive constantly the visit of a great number of bathers. One of them is San Jacinto, where this urban development environment emphasizes on the pleasant and amability of its inhabitants. The tourist expansion has motivated the installation of an important quantity of restaurants and hotels. At a very little distance, we find San Clemente. This beach has a large extension of beach sand and from time to time can be very tranquil. In the months of spring break, there is a radical change and the beach becomes one of the most moved places in Manabí. This and much more has to offer the Canton Sucre, a place where the ecology plays a fundamental role and where the visitor can enjoy moments that he will never forget. Sucre, another paradise to know in Manabí.